Hello, and welcome to the Business Transformation 101 series. I'm your host, Bill Fegis. Today, we are wrapping up the initial section of Business Transformation 101. 30 weeks and 29 podcasts ago, I started this series on LinkedIn. The objective of the weekly series was to provide you with ideas, thoughts, best practices, and real-world examples of transformational actions that will help you achieve meaningful improvements and to take your business to the next level. These actions were intended to be building blocks to utilize to construct a unique, holistic business system that would support the culture you and your team were working to create and fit the vision and strategy of your business. Alternately, the building blocks could be used to make incremental improvements to your existing business and strategy. Hopefully you found useful, actionable information from many, if not all, of the podcasts in the series. Ultimately, effective business transformation comes down to leadership by you and your team. It is incumbent upon you and your team to establish the culture and strategy of the business, to ensure your team has the right players and appropriate tools to execute the strategy and produce results. The leadership team needs to walk the talk and lead the transformation by their actions. As noted in Volume 1, Introduction to Business Transformation 101, my tenure with Danaher was a transformational experience and instilled in me the leadership approach I've used for the past 20 plus years at 5 different companies and over 15 business units. Utilizing this leadership approach has produced consistent upper quartile performance. This leadership approach is built upon people, plans, and processes. Let's start with people. People are the key to a successful business. As Jim Collins so eloquently stated in his book, Good to Great, you need to get the right people on the bus, the wrong people off the bus, and put the right people in the right seats. You need A players on your bus to win, so you need to set the expectations for your team on what constitutes an A player in each role, and ensure you have processes in place to assess, hire, develop, and compensate A players. We discussed various aspects of building and retaining a team of A players in Volumes 2 through 7 of the series. In Volume 2, we talked about who to select for your team. Volume 3, how to interview for A players. Volume 4, a robust talent acquisition process. Volume 5, we had a podcast with Patrick Hopp discussing talent assessment. Volume 6 was about retaining A players, and Volume 7 was about new leader assimilation. After you have the people, you need to develop plans. The team cannot hit the desired performance if they do not know what the targets are. Plans developed by the team are necessary to provide goals, align the team, and set expectations. The leadership team needs to build both short-term annual operating plans and long-term strategic plans. These plans need to be integrated and consistent to ensure success. Balancing the resources applied to daily management for executing the annual operating plan with the resources applied to breakthrough management for executing the strategic plan is a significant challenge for most leadership teams. How do you effectively build and maintain a strong foundation while simultaneously developing growth on top of the foundation? Volumes 8 through 11 discussed plans. Volume 8 was on short-term planning. Volume 9 discussed long-term planning. In Volume 10, we had a podcast with Phil Samuel, who took us through the strategy creation process. And in Volume 11, we discussed strategy deployment, the process for turning strategic plans into reality. Then, after getting the right people on your team and putting together plans with that team, you need to work on processes. To ensure the business provides consistent, sustainable, improving performance, you need to deploy robust processes in all aspects of the business. Day to day and shift to shift, you need processes that ensure consistent safety, quality, delivery, cost, and growth, or SQDC. Many people view lean as a manufacturing-only methodology. This is a critical mistake. Lean applies to any process and therefore is applicable across the business and must be deployed across the enterprise. Your new product development process, for example, should have documented processes from voice of the customer capture all the way to product end of life. Your monthly financial close should be a documented, efficient process. Your sales team should have a documented sales funnel process and a value-added selling process. If you want to win, you need to apply lean processes across the enterprise in every corner of the business. We covered processes in volumes 12 through 29. In volume 12, we talked about new product development or NPD processes. Volume 13, we talked about an example new product development process with Dan Adams. This process was called New Product Blueprinting. In volume 14, we talked with Phil Samuel about another new product development process called Rapid Innovation Sprints. Volume 15, we talked about achieving diversity in the leadership team. 16, we discussed a primer on lean. Volume 17 was about value stream mapping. 18 covered standard work. In 19, we did an example of standard work with a podcast from Janet Spadden discussing how customer service transformation can be done using standard work. Volume 20, we talked about why I hate monuments. Volume 21 was a podcast with Mark DeLuzio, author of Why Lean Transformations Fail and How to Ensure Your Lean Transformation Succeeds. A great discussion of what to do and what not to do in your lean implementation. Volume 22, we discussed pull systems or Kanban systems. Volume 23, we talked about 80-20 or Pareto analysis. In 24, we discussed quick changeover or SMED, single minute exchange of die. In 25, we talked about potential pitfalls in developing strategic plans. 26 talked about lean accounting, how lean can be used in your accounting processes. Volume 27 discussed 5S. Volume 28 discussed the 3P or production preparation process. And finally, in Volume 29, we discussed TPM or total productive maintenance. This marks the end of the current series of podcasts. I am exploring the potential production of a second series of podcasts to provide more color on the topics covered in volumes 1 through 22. Stay tuned for news on a potential second wave of podcasts. Over the next 10 weeks, we will be posting the 5 most popular articles from the series as ranked by the number of viewer reads, followed by posting of my top 5 favorite articles that did not make the reader top 5. Once again, in the interest of continuous improvement, I invite feedback from our readers and listeners. Please share your thoughts and ideas on the series, and feel free to suggest topics for a second wave of podcasts. Thank you to everyone that took the time to read the articles or listen to the podcasts. I appreciate the likes and comments that we received. Please join us next week when we post on LinkedIn the 5th most popular article from the Business Transformation 101 series based upon reader views.